because sometimes people just can't put into words what it is that they do. Hence me saying leave humble at the door. And again, I said this in my Instagram post. It's not about religion. It's not about being a woman, being a man. It's about people in general being forced this idea that you should just be happy for what you have and stay there. Hey y'all, so welcome to my channel, Big Check Energy. I'm Tiffany, if we've never met before. So on this channel, I focus on different things. I'm an HR professional. I'm a resume writer. I'm also a caregiver to my dad who has dementia, but I talk about that on my other channel, The Casual Caregiver. Go check it out if you're interested. But today, you all, I was compelled to talk about something that I think I forgot to make a video on last year, and it came up this weekend. So I figured, you know what, let me hop on here while I've got the energy and I remember, okay? So the concepts of humility and gratitude. Now, those are overall positive things, right? Like nobody's going around being like, oh, being grateful and having humility are terrible. That's not what it is. So I'm just going to start off clarifying that. However, some of y'all are out here messing up and missing out on opportunities and holding yourself back because you are so hell-bent on showing that you have humility and having gratitude. And I say that you don't need to have it that much, or at least you don't need to have it and show it in every situation. And by that, I mean on your resume specifically, right? Because that's the aspect where I'm coming from, the angle I'm coming from. You don't need to be humble on your resume. What's the purpose of that? Who taught you that? When you are interviewing, there's a certain balance of humility you need to have. And every day in life, there's a certain level of gratitude you should have just for waking up every morning, right? If all your parts and functions are working right now, you should have gratitude for that. But beyond that, when it comes to just making what you want to make, doing what you want to do, earning what you want to earn, doing the career thing that you want, why are y'all out here pushing the concept of being so humble and having so much gratitude? That's the thing that confuses me a lot of times because, and like I said on Instagram earlier, some people are not going to like this message, but I'm here because I feel like some of us are just doing the most when it comes to the gratitude and the humility. And part of that reason is because it's being pushed to us. It's being pushed to us through our spiritual leaders, our religious leaders, or our religion, or whatever faith that you follow. Most religions, or at least the ones I know of, they tend to push humility, gratitude, and that is perfectly fine and well. However, no one's teaching us how to balance that out here in the real world when we are interviewing, when we are advocating for ourselves, and we just go overboard. We go overboard. So I'm going to just kind of reference, or I'm going to tell you where this came from. So last year at some point, the version of my website that was out there, which is pitchr.com, I used to use, I guess you would say like a slogan, or one of the ways I used to advertise my resume writing business is I would say leave humble at the door. And the reason why I would say that is because a lot of my clients, it's safe for me to say most of my clients, are Black women, or at least women of color. And then you have men of color, or actually no, Black men, and then men of color, right? That tends to be my audience because guess what? I'm Black. So we kind of naturally gravitate towards each other in most cases, or in some cases. It's like a bias or a level of trust you kind of have from talking to someone who looks like you, dresses like you, speaks like you. It's just natural. It's psychology, right? Nothing wrong with that. However, that phrase, leave humble at the door, ruffled this random stranger's feathers. And it's actually a person who said they're a fellow notary. So I'm not going to, no shade to this person, but I am using this example because it reminded me of why I do what I do. So this person, who from the internet found me, I suppose, said, why would you say leave humble at the door? Humility is an excellent and admirable quality, and it takes inner strength to practice it. I was impressed by your website and all accolades, but please explain to me what you mean by that. Of course, you do not have to, since you want to leave humility at the door. Signing off, your fellow notary. And they left their name and their phone number, and they're in the Atlanta area. And that's all fine and dandy. And I responded, and I said, good morning with an exclamation point, even though they gave me no greeting in the message. And they said, yes. Or I said, yes. I say that because many of my clients minimize their professional work experience for the sake of humility and fear, and also lack of confidence in their skills and experience. Of course, humility is necessary, but for the specific work I do with my resume clients, I want them to add on layers of confidence so that we can position their professional experience on their resumes from a place of authority and help them land new roles. I hope this helps you understand, and if you're interested in any services, please do let me know. Now, my profession is that of an HR, well, previously HR director. Now I'm an HR compliance specialist. I've been writing all my life, okay? Some people have been fighting all their life. I've been writing all my life. And if you want an eloquently worded response, whether it is in response to something positive or negative, I will give it to you because I got time. I'm paid to do that, okay? That's why I call myself a wordsmith, and that's why I come on here and advocate for people who are looking for new opportunities, because sometimes people just can't put into words what it is that they do. Hence me saying leave humble at the door. And again, I said this in my Instagram post, it's not about religion. It's not about being a woman, being a man. It's about people in general being forced this idea that you should just be happy for what you have and stay there. Should you be happy for what you have? Absolutely. But separate to that is the staying there part. This message, if you are happy where you are, content where you are, your needs are being met, this message isn't for you necessarily. But if you are unhappy, you've been underpaid, overworked, overlooked, this message is for you. When you are writing your resume, when you are writing an email, when you are speaking to people and someone asks you, oh, well, what do you do for the company? Or tell me about your position. Stop being so damn humble and being like, oh, well, I just, ... fill in the blank. Oh, well, because if you keep onlying, you're going to only keep making what you make. And that's part of the problem. So what has happened to me in the past, and I may have touched on this story before in the past, when I made the switch to HR, right, I kind of started from the bottom, right? I had an HR internship with the state of Georgia, and then I landed my first full-time HR role at a tech company, really cool tech company, and I was there and I loved it. And they paid me okay for being newer on the scene. However, I was underpaid. My colleague made more than me, and she did not have the amount of years of work experience I had. She did not have the level of education within the field at all. She actually didn't have a degree at all, or no formal education. And then, there were some other things that were just not making sense for why she made more than me. And the person who advocated for me to make more was actually a woman who was not a woman of color at all. She was a damn near 6 foot tall white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Okay. Love her to this day. She's the person who was like, listen, we got to fix this. This doesn't make any sense. And she was a director at the time. She is the person, because I was like, you know what? It's okay, whatever. I may not be here forever, whatever. And she was like, hell no, no ma'am. And I feel like she had that extra spark and step in her, because even though she had the look of a person who you would assume in some cases, or some people may assume would treat you one way, she was about getting what you deserve in life. She had been through a divorce. The ex, I guess, tried to take her coins. This woman was ready to fight every day she got up, okay? So she advocated for me. She fought for me more than I fought for myself at that time. And they gave me more money, but it wasn't enough. So what happened was, we went through an acquisition. I jumped ship, right? After we closed, I took my little bonus. I was like, I'm out because y'all tripping. And I landed another job. And that job paid me $50,000 a year, which in my head used to be my number, right? I was like, oh, if I could just get 50,000, I'm good. 50,000, it was okay. There are people who make less than that and they raise families. I'm not saying you can't make a living off of $50,000. But the way I want to live, it wasn't enough. So I took on 2 other positions after I left the first role that paid me $50,000. And when I got to that 3rd job that paid me $50K, they got on my nerves. That was a law firm. I was like, y'all paying me $50K? I know how much money we're bringing in. We are bringing in top dollar. This firm is in one of the best buildings in Buckhead. And I don't know if y'all have been here to the Atlanta area. Buckhead is where the money's at, okay? Y'all want to keep paying me $50,000, but I'm doing director level work. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. And by cents, I mean dollars and cents, okay? You can explain it to me until you're black and blue in the face. It doesn't make numerical sense. So I left that role, went back to another tech company that paid me $60K. $60K, I was so excited to hit that $60K. Still wasn't enough. I was like, you know what? I got the student loan debt. Still do. Pay on that every month. And I want to own a home. I think I want a new car at some point. Whatever it is. Even if it's, I just wanted to eat out more, buy snacks, whatever. I was living at home with my parents at this time too. So when I got that $60K, I was like, oh, this is it. Now I had moved out from my parents' home between that $50K and $60K. I was like, we're doing it. We're going to make it work. And there's no looking back, because it's not a secret. I didn't move out until I was 30, y'all. And I'm 37. Okay. I moved out when I was 30 because I was like, I can't keep staying here. My mom was getting on my nerves. Everybody was getting on my nerves. Okay. So at 30, I was like, I got to go. It ain't no coming back. There is no coming back. I had moved out once before that for like a year and then came back home because it was like one of those roommate situations. It was too much. It was too much. I'm not built for a roommate. Okay. So, yeah, so I hit the 60K. And at the point where we had grown so much as a company, that tech company, one, I should have been making more to begin with, but they sort of took advantage of the situation and me just trying to make more. And I was just a little dumb back then, or more dumb than I am now. We all a little dumb, but this, I should have asked for more. And I was just grateful. Yeah, there goes that G word. I was so grateful for that damn 60K. I just said yes, because I wanted to get back into tech and I wanted to make more. So did I make more? Yes. Was it enough? No, not for what I want, right? So I was so grateful I took the 60K and didn't really negotiate at all. I was just like, okay, cool. I'll take it. I'll start on such and such date. So guess what? I was there about 3 years. I'm going, year by year or every 6 months, whenever it was we were looking at salaries, I am still so far below what I could be making. And I know that because I work in HR, right? So I have visibility into things that, maybe the everyday or other employees wouldn't have access to, right? So not only did I know just from looking at things like salary.com and Glassdoor that I was underpaid. I already knew that, right? But I liked my job and I liked my coworkers a lot. So I was like, it's cool. It was a cool company. I was kind of in and out. We took trips, that kind of stuff. And that gratitude slapped me in the face. The gratitude and the humility slapped me in the face, y'all. So first and foremost, when you are knowingly the lowest paid person in your company, and every time somebody gets hired, whether they're fresh out of school or some even still in college, you're coming in making more than you when they're doing like quote unquote less skilled work than you, and they don't have the level of education in their fields that you do in yours, you can ignore it for a while, but then that reality starts to settle in. You get a little bit of resentment. I'm not the person to be like, y'all need to pay me more because Ashley over here is making more. Jessica's making more. I'm not that person. I'm going to go about things the right way. I already knew I was not making enough. And when it came time to do our performance reviews and get our pay increases, me and my manager, we started bumping heads because I reported to a C-suite executive and he was a little disrespectful. That's just who he is as a person. I knew it walking in the door. Nothing about that would change. He was a white male or is a white male. He's disrespectful to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, whatever. He's going to be disrespectful and he's going to be condescending. Even to white men. Even white men don't like him. I'll be very honest with you. That is confirmed. All right. So, there was a situation where this young lady who worked at the company wanted to do these handwritten cards and send them to clients. Wonderful idea. They would love a handwritten card, even though they're going to throw that shit straight in the trash. But she wanted to do these cards, and during some meeting that I was not a part of, someone suggested that I, the HR leader at the time, should handwrite these hundreds of cards for this young lady's clients because I ain't got nothing else to do. I just work in HR, even though I'm there first thing in the morning, and I'm pretty much always the last person to leave because that's just how I used to roll. Like I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna show out, I'm gonna be that rock star that tech companies love to say they're looking for. And I did that. I showed up, showed out, right? But those cards, people, when I tell y'all, that put me over the edge. So what had happened was I'm sitting at my desk. Well, I wasn't even at my desk. I was at a desk in a conference room. And I'm sitting there, and I just wrapped up a call because I think we were doing like benefits renewals about that time. You know, towards the end of the year, HR people tend to be looking at prices and stuff for that to get the best coverage they can for our companies, right? And I'm sitting here working, typing, and the young lady walks over to me, and she's like, hey, you know, let's just call him Bob. Bob said to talk to you about this. He said that you'd be able to help me out by signing these cards. I looked at her and I said, who's doing that? Did somebody ask me about? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. And she's like, oh, well, he said you would do it. No one's asked me to do anything. And even if they did, the answer would be no. I'm not doing that. I'm busy. That's not my job. Like, I can get y'all an intern to do that, or we can pay a teenager to come in here and do that. I'm not doing that. So she leaves, goes and tells Bob. Bob comes around the corner. Bob comes into the conference room. He didn't even knock, okay? Mind you, this is one of the founders of the company and a C-suite executive. I was on I don't care that day. So he walks in. I'm being respectful because that's just who I am naturally. And Bob says, hey, she told me you said you weren't going to sign these or write these cards. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Well, why won't you do that? I'm busy. We've been in multiple meetings about these benefits, and you know what projects I have going on. I don't have time to do that. And he's like, well, she doesn't have time to do that. I said, she has to make time to do it. It was her idea. They're her clients. She needs to write her cards, or we can get her an intern. Let me know. I can put a posting up. And he's like, no, you need to write these cards. Her time is too valuable to be spent writing cards. Y'all, I can't make this up. This man looked me in the face and said her time is too valuable to be spent writing cards for her own clients, her own idea. But it should be worth my time, the lowest paid person at the company. The humble rock star should spend her time writing these cards for somebody's clients I've never spoken to, seen, and I don't have nothing to do with. And I looked at him and I said, I hear you, and I need you to hear me. I'm not doing that. So let me know what the budget is per hour for the intern so I can get someone here to do that. So needless to say, he was not very happy. He actually elevated his voice. I'm not going to just say elevated his voice. He yelled. He yelled, and I had to look at him and gather myself because I knew I couldn't go to jail that day, y'all. But it is one of those moments that was life-defining for me. He knew what I did, but he didn't care. He knew what I brought to the company, but he kind of ignored what I brought to the company because I was too humble, because I was filled with gratitude for the opportunity of working with such a great team. I miss that team to this day, y'all. And I learned from that moment on that nobody cares how humble and grateful you are. You may do yourself a disservice if you're too grateful and you're too humble. Use them wisely and use them in the proper scenarios. You don't need to be grateful and humble everywhere, okay? You need to advocate for yourself. And when you go to these interviews and somebody's asking you about your job, you need to speak with authority and speak like what you do is game changing. It doesn't matter what your job is. Stop walking around here being humble and talking about how much gratitude you have for where you are. Yes, we are all filled with gratitude for where we are in life. We could be in some third world country starving without shoes and hungry. Yes, we all know that. But you have to use it sparingly, okay? When you are asking for more, when you are asking for more money, more time, more whatever it is, It is okay to ask for more, but you have to ask for more and speak from a place of authority, and leave humble at the door, like I said the first time, because people will have you feeling like wanting more than what you already have makes you a bad person or makes you evil. And they will use things like their faith and their religion to make you complacent with where you are, or to make you complacent with what they have given you. That same example, that person who was my manager wanting to know why I wanted more money, and even though I was making the 60K and you're asking me to do things like handwrite some cards, and he ended up not giving me a full increase that year. He was only giving me a 1.5%. What was I supposed to do with that? And he told me that I didn't deserve the 3%. Just to keep it short, he told me I didn't deserve the 3% for some cockamamie reason. I'm not even going to get into the reason. It wasn't a real reason. Just know that, which is why I quit. And I just realized I had to do better. I had to do better for myself, and I had to stop just accepting what people handed me because I was filled with gratitude. Like, no, like if you give me something and what you've given me is poop, well, I'm going to tell you that it was poop, and then I'm going to go elsewhere where I'm appreciated and valued. I'm not going to sit here and just be grateful that I have a job, right? Because I can be grateful somewhere else earning $20,000 more, which is exactly what happened. I quit that job and I started a job that paid me $20,000 more to do the same job, but I had my director title and I was making more money, and those people were way nicer. The gratitude journals that are out here, some of them are fantastic, and they can really help people wake up and be more positive about where they are in life. But I don't want people who are not happy to use that as a band-aid to keep them stuck. If you feel stuck, you need to get unstuck. If you feel stuck, you do not need to put a band-aid of gratitude on where you are. If you want more, go get more. It is okay to want more. Your spiritual leader, your religious leader, your pastor, your preacher, whoever it is, he wants you or she wants you to flourish, okay? Stop being stuck by just telling yourself, well, you know what? It's okay because I'm just grateful to have a job, because there are a lot of people who don't have jobs. There are. But there are a lot of people who have jobs that make more than you too. So let's just keep that in perspective, folks. And I came with this message today because, like I said, most of my clients are Black women, and then next it's women of color, and then it's Black men, or the Black men and women of color are neck and neck, and then there's non-POC, non-Black clients, right? As far as volume of who I get. But I see it across the board with women in general, but I'm honing in on the message to Black women here because from my conversations, Black women tend to be the ones most driven by, how do I word this? Most driven by what they have learned or grown up knowing or have been taught through church. I will go ahead and say it. Please don't kill me, right? So Black women are often taught to just be grateful for what you have, because all my life I had to fight. You got to be grateful. And that goes across the board. Be grateful because you got a man. Be grateful, that you got your edges. We just got to be grateful all day. And I'm like, you can be grateful, but you need to have some action about yourself. You can't just say, oh, I'm grateful and God got me all day. You can't say that all day and then do nothing when you want something more. God gave you action too, right? So whatever it is that you want, you're going to have to do something to get it, right? Just stop throwing it up and saying, God got me, and putting no action behind it. You have to put action behind things. So with that being said, y'all, please don't come for me, because it's not about religion, right? It's not about religion. Even if you're not Christian, it don't have to be God, whoever it is that you pray to, or whatever faith you follow or don't follow, because this channel is open to all, right? You may not practice a faith, but you must know that you got to have some action behind you wanting more. It's not going to land in your lap. Or at least for most of us, that's not the way it happens. For some of these other folks, they may just have things land in their lap. But just know you can flourish. Now, what flourishing looks like, that's up to you. Flourishing could be 70K, nice home, 3 bedrooms, garage. That can be your flourishing, right? It's all relative. I'm not saying you got to go make 500K a year. Now, that man who was talking to me and wouldn't give me more than 60K, he made over 500K a year and had the nerve to ask me why I needed to make more money. Excuse me? Excuse me, sir? Let's break down this math, because it's not making sense to me. All of that to say, don't hold yourself back using gratitude and humility as a crutch. There's a time, place, and opportunity and space for everything, including being humble and showing gratitude. Sometimes you've got to be a beast. You've got to be a little arrogant, and you've got to toot your own horn, because if not, who will? Who will? And swap out that word arrogant for confident, okay? Because I don't want anyone saying, well, you just said we weren't supposed to. You don't need to be arrogant. You need to be confident. And sometimes that gratitude mindset that we have all been taught to have over the past year or two, especially with the gratitude journals and the gratitude mugs and all of that, sometimes you got to leave that at the door. I said what I said. I stand by that. And you have to go for what you want, whether it's more money, more love, more time, whatever it is. You got to go for it. Don't use your gratitude and your humility as a crutch, and don't let them be a roadblock to getting what you want in life. You're not greedy. You're not evil for wanting more. And I guess I'll end by saying, if it is that you want more money, if it is that you want a better position, something like that, so that you can do the things you want to do in life, the first step, you know what I'm going to say, the first step is, after changing your mindset, that next step is going to be getting your resume and LinkedIn together, y'all. I have seen some things, okay? Get the resume and LinkedIn together. And if you need help with that, you know where to find me, pitchr.com, or you can go to Instagram, it's pitch.hr, and really look at my services. I have something for everyone. My course, Winning 6 to 10, teaches you exactly how to target your resume for that next opportunity. Or if you prefer to have things mostly done for you or done for you completely, I've got an option for you there as well. So thank you so much for listening. I'm really interested to know your thoughts on this topic, so please drop a comment. Hope I didn't offend anyone. It's kind of hard not to do that on the internet these days. But I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.